Starting a business is similar to somebody attempting to start a fire with wet wood. Hi, my name is Michael and welcome to my YouTube channel. So let me repeat that. Starting a business is similar to someone wanting to start a fire with wet wood. Now, if you've ever attempted to start a fire, lit the braai, or just a fire at home to get cozy, and you discover along the way that the wood is wet, you know that you're in for a tough time. So about a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to do a pop-up mall. So I have a clothing brand that I mostly sell online, and this opportunity came along and I decided, well, it will be good to see how the brand does in a different environment. One, I don't keep stock, so I do what they refer to as on-demand printing. Somebody would order a t-shirt, generally I have prints available, and then I print. But with the pop-up mall, pop-up market rather, I had to then buy in the t-shirts. I had to bulk print some of the designs, which is something that I'm not used to. So the shirts and the prints combined, we're looking at I spent about, say, 6,500 rands just for that. And then I ended up having to buy a clothing rail stand because I was not going to use a fold-up table that is commonly used at these markets. I went for a rail. I had to buy a chair, and there's a whole host of other expenses. So it cost me a bit to, for this particular 2-day event. And then there was a fee that I needed to pay. It wasn't a lot of money, but there was a fee that I had to pay. Right, so I'm set up. I arrived there and it's day one, and I want you to take a guess as to how many t-shirts I sold on day one. And then there was day two, and I want you to guess how many t-shirts I sold on day two. So I'll give you a second. By the way, the total stock that I had on hand was 31 t-shirts in total. So over the 2 days, take a guess as to how many t-shirts I sold. All right, so by now you've guessed and you've got a number. So here's the answer. Maybe we should get a drum roll. 3. Yep, out of the 31, and a total investment that ended up probably close to 8,000 rand, a total of 3 shirts, and the revenue for the 3 shirts was under 1,000 rand. Day one I sold 1, day 2 I sold 2. So let me come back to the opening statement, that starting a business, and then I want to broaden it to the entrepreneurship journey itself is similar to someone starting a fire and then the wood is wet. As humans, we are optimistic by nature. So going into this pop-up, I had a certain expectation as to how many shirts I was going to sell. I mean, nobody goes into this thing and you're ill-prepared and you go there with 5 shirts. No, that's not what you do. So I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time doing this, and I felt that 31 was a decent amount because the range is fairly extensive, and I wanted to at least have something of each particular design. So there was some method to my madness with regards to why I got to 31, and I sold 3. One of the biggest, I'm not going to call it a mistake, because because it's wrong for me to say mistake, but we set ourselves up for disappointment. Why am I saying this? In my instance, I had a certain expectation as to, you know, how well I could do. 3 was definitely not the number. You know, I was probably hoping around, say, 15. If I at least sold half of the stock, you know, I would have regarded as, well, yeah, no, that was good, because I'm now faced with, then I'm going to get the invitation to come back to the same market, because the nature of pop-ups in markets is you have to do this thing continuously so that customers become aware that you are actually at the market, and then they tell their buddies, you know, so it can't just be a once-off. So I'm going to get the email to go back, and I now need to decide, well, am I going back or am I not going to go back? Nonetheless, again, I don't want to use the word mistake. We have this high hopes when we start out, and I'm using this as an example, but any other project that you're involved in, we have these high hopes that things are really gonna go well. We're gonna hit the ground running. People are gonna love it. They're going to buy in the idea. The support are gonna come in the thousands and the millions, or whatever the case may be. And then generally it does not happen. So now the marketing gurus are going to go and they're going to ask me, well, is it the right product? Was the pop-up market, were you targeting the correct market? What was it, the correct time of the month? And, you know, so there's a whole lot of things that you can now go and analyze. And whatever the analysis is going to be, it's not really going to have a big impact, because what happened here, and the entrepreneurial lesson I'm trying to convey is exactly this, that things are in the beginning not going to go as well as you have planned and as well as you have hoped. Because our plans are up here, right? Our objectives are up here, our targets are up here, our hope is up here, and that's just who we are, because nobody's gonna aim here. You're going to aim there, but what you are going to get is you're going to get this. It's just how life is. Life just works like that. But coming back to the fire, so you're starting this fire and then you discover, but hey, this hood is not as dry as I thought, and I'm going to have problems. But the trick is, if you want to get that fire going, is that you have to keep going. Eventually, you know, the hood will take fire, and it will start burn, and the fire will develop. It's probably not going to be as potent as a fire with dry wood, but you will eventually, you'll get somewhere. But it's going to be a struggle, and this is what starting your business is like. This is what entrepreneurship is like. It is not always going to go your way. You are not always going to hit those high targets and meet those high expectations, and again, there's nothing wrong with having them, but you also need to, whilst having these high hopes and high expectations, also be ready for, I almost want to call it the fall or the nosedive, that, you know, you're only going to sell 3 t-shirts, and then that's fine. The good thing for me is I had the opportunity to get my product outside of the online environment, and people got to see it, people got to interact with it. They a lot of them did not buy, but they interacted with the brand, and they read the little phrases, because it's one of those tongue-in-cheek sort of phrases that I have on the shirts. So, and that is what I wanted to achieve, was to get the brand and the product in a different setting and in a different environment. So if you're listening to this and things are not going as well as you have anticipated and hoped, and you're looking at your targets and you're 6 months in or whatever the case may be, and you're not where you want to be, I want to say to you, do not be discouraged. These things happen. These things happen. What you and I have to do is we have to continue to push through. And chances are that I'm going to be back at this pop-up store come the end of the month, because they usually have it around that time. But we simply have to continue to push, because if you believe in your product and in your service, you need to give it every chance to become successful and not lose hope and want to give up at the first sight of failure, or it's not working, or the people are not liking it, or whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to take some time out and share this message with you, that entrepreneurship and starting a business is similar to someone starting a fire with wet wood. But if you push on, later on somebody could come to your rescue and put some dry wood on the fire, and then this thing erupts. And that is very well what happens in business. Again, you could form partnerships along the way, or somebody could come along out of nowhere and say, well, and just give you the boost that you require, and then this thing go boom. But up until that point, you need to keep pushing your brand, keep pushing your product, keep pushing the solution that you are bringing to the market. I trust that you found this beneficial, and stay tuned for more videos. The website is toolegit.co.za if you're going to check out some of my product. Cheers.